Assalamu alaikum. I'm Amira. When I was a child in Sudan, my world was full of colors and laughter. Our village was a tapestry of life and joy. Our days were filled with games in the sun and nights with stories under the stars. The laughter of children echoed through our village. I remember the smell of my mother's cooking and the sound of my father's laugh. My mother's hands were always busy, creating delicious meals that brought us together as a family. My little brother Malik and I would chase each other through fields of wildflowers. The world seemed endless and full of possibilities. We'd watch the sunset paint the sky in brilliant oranges and pinks. Those moments of peace and togetherness seemed like they would last forever. In those moments, I felt like the luckiest girl in the world, surrounded by beauty and love. But one day, the sky rumbled with more than just thunder. The war had begun, and our peaceful world began to change before our eyes. At first, we didn't understand. The adults spoke in hushed tones, their faces grave. We could sense something was wrong, but we couldn't grasp how much our lives were about to change. Then came the sounds, loud, frightening booms that shook the very ground. Malik would cover his ears and cry. I tried to be brave for him, but I was scared too. Our colorful world was turning gray with fear and uncertainty. We fled to shelters, leaving behind our homes and our carefree days. I clutched my favorite doll, while Malik held onto our mother's hand tightly. The shelter was dark and crowded. So many families, all with the same worried looks. In the shelter, we huddled together, finding comfort in each other's presence. We tried to make the best of it. The adults organized classes and activities for us children. I learned to read by candlelight, and Malik discovered he had a talent for drawing. But at night, when the sounds of war echoed outside, we'd all grow quiet. Days blurred into weeks, but hope never left us. We dreamed of peace and home. We'd share stories of what we'd do when we returned, keeping our spirits alive. Malik would draw pictures of our house, adding a garden he wanted to plant. I promised myself I'd never take a peaceful night's sleep for granted again. Then one day, like a miracle, we heard the news. It was safe to return. The journey home was filled with both anticipation and uncertainty. Would our house still be standing? Would our neighbors be there? As we walked, I noticed how the landscape had changed. Some buildings were damaged, but among the rubble, I saw small flowers pushing through, life finding a way. As we approached our neighborhood, we saw soldiers, but they weren't scary anymore. They smiled and waved, welcoming us back to our homes. Our house was still there, a bit battered, but standing strong, just like us. Malik planted his garden, and I helped our mother clean and repair our home. Slowly, our neighborhood came back to life. Children's laughter filled the streets again. We faced challenges, but we faced them together as a community. The soldiers who once seemed frightening became our protectors and friends. Now, years later, I remember those days, and I'm grateful for the strength we found. Our story is one of resilience, hope, and the power of coming home. Sudan has faced many challenges, but like those flowers in the rubble, we always bloom again. To all the children who have known war, remember, peace is possible, and home is where the heart heals.